Swerve, when he drives, he keeps it alive to face Joe in St. Louis alive. And he swerves when he drives at Dynasty Live. Will he swerve when he drives to the world title live? Possibly. We shall see if Shane Swerve Strickland achieves his dream and becomes the first African-American World Heavyweight Champion in AEW history. And honestly, he really should. I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger, but my oh my, what a journey it's going to be for the next few weeks. Just pull the trigger, Tony. Just pull the trigger. Let's talk about this show, shall we? I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Centra Videotron in Quebec City. I will never understand Canadian English. Then again, this is in the French part of Canada. I know that's not how you say it, but nevertheless, I will say the crowd that was there certainly tried to up the noise as much as they could, but they didn't have a lot of people in an NBA-sized arena or NHL-sized arena, since it is Quebec City. And last time I checked, I don't believe that Quebec City actually has an NBA franchise. Also, this review is up a lot earlier than usual because, well, a scheduling switch caused me to be able to watch this show live. And there were a couple things I liked, and then there were some things I did not like. I wonder if you can guess what I didn't like. And also, in a couple weeks, I will actually be watching Dynamite live again because I've got some different shifts coming up. And myself and one of my best friends, Roxy, we are going to be going to the Dynamite on May 15th. That's going to certainly be interesting, especially since they're running a 10K size arena instead of about 18K like they did in Seattle. They're running it in Everett. Boy, that's a dive of an area, let me just tell you that. But 3,500 people, according to WrestleTix. They actually dropped like a few sections because they didn't fill them. Advertise better, promote better, and I don't know, Tony, hand the book off to somebody else. Will Ospreay took on the man with the new brain, Shibata. And look, it was athletic shit. Shibata is just wanting to do whatever he wants to do because he's like, you know what? New Japan wouldn't let me wrestle. I'm going to do what I want. I don't care if I have a new brain. Thank you, Meltzer, you fucking moron. They took it seriously. They laid the shit in. Shibata still can go. He still do some good stuff. There's suplex and PK on the floor. No, Will, don't target the man's new brain. He just got one. We can't get him another new brain. And I don't like the... I know that forearms can hurt. I'm not saying you need to, brain somebody, har, but don't do it where it's like, It just, no. Also do better camera work, maybe, so it doesn't look so silly, because these guys can lay shit in it. They have before. They will again. There is kicking and high kicks and a drop kick in the corner, and Will Ospreay staring up at the spotlight. Not losing his religion. Losing some brain cells, maybe. The no-selling got a bit on my nerves. Also, you know what modern wrestling needs more of? Multiple kickouts, and kickouts at one. That is one thing that I do not like. It's like, on a rare occasion, I get it. But when you do it multiple times on a show, and it's in multiple promotions, and those that watch multiple promotions see it kind of wears thin. It gets watered down. There was the sleeper, the Oscutter, a lariat, and then eventually the hidden blade 1, 2, 3. This went about 20 minutes or so. Was what it was. Package on Bryan Danielson, his last year footage of the Indies, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. And you know what? I hope that Danielson can have a great match against Ospreay at Dynasty. I hope that he gets a chance to perform at Wembley. And then he gets to go up and have his retirement. He can make indie shots if he wants. That'd be cool. But if he wants to spend time with his family and not wrestle anymore, he doesn't need to. He doesn't have anything else left to prove. What does have something to prove to people is Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. I'm going to be watching that tomorrow. And also, I want Tony Khan to prove to me and prove to fans that not only can, he just continuously put out tournaments, but he needs to prove that he actually can put on a good tournament. Because the one thing he has not done is format a tournament properly. The Continental Crown had its moments, but it wasn't great. So, the Blucks, the EVPs, took on Private Party. Oh my God, is that Private Party? With referee Rick Knox, who is the worst referee going today. Rick Knox cannot do anything right. I do not understand why he is still there. Oh, he's the Blucks' best friend. They're called the Blucks because that is what Davy Crockett, the lone Crockett left in the Frontier. There's a rematch from I believe it was the third Dynamite episode, if I remember right, where Private Party beat the Bucks and never got elevated. Please tell me how they got elevated. I know that Cassidy and Quinn had their series of injuries. There was a pandemic and there was stuff like that, but did Private Party mean much after a few more months? No, they really didn't. Matt and Nick cannot wrestle. They cannot. They have never been able to wrestle. They can turn on and work with the right people and have had some, at least good matches for them, but they are easily the most overrated tag team going today and have been the most overrated tag team for a number of years. I praised their stuff in the past, but it's like Okada's barely watching backstage. That's how much money Tony's paying him. Hey, let's not have him appear in front of the fans. Yeah, sure, you don't want people to get sick of him, but really, you're paying him that much for that? One Buck was fixing his hair while, the other did an apron spot. That's not the only apron spot on this show. There's you fucked up chance because the Bucks can't do anything, and they fucked up the trigger. How do you fuck up doing a shitty looking knee? You morons. Yeah, the Bucks won. Shocking. Package on Takeshita. Then Mercedes shows up. Tony Hawk then uses Darby's, brace leg to pivot, doing some skate tricks. I'm amazed that Tony Hawk can still skateboard given the amount of injuries that he suffered, but good on him. Darby also is still a fucking idiot for thinking that he could have ever climbed Mount Everest. He would have even made it one goddamn mile. Jericho's talking to Hook. It's like, I'm here to give advice. That's basically it. If you ever want my advice, I'm here. And Hook said something along the lines of, I'll take your advice. You're Chris Jericho, but you're Chris Jericho, and I know who you are. There is a reason why Hook was better seen and not heard all that often. And then Mercedes was on commentary for the following match. Statlander, Anna Jay, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue with the human bat himself, Stokely Hathaway, in the corner. They're just there. I didn't know they allowed children in Quebec City, at least in the arena. At least on that side of the barricade. Four-way contenders match. At one point, commentary said, oh, Sky got Stat right in the face. Oh, do go on. Can we see more of that? A lot of great camera work during this, and look, the women took it seriously. They tried. Sky has improved her look and has gotten a little bit better. Anna Jay apparently spent some time in Japan. I don't know for what promotion. If you do, let me know in the comments. Willow has some good power. Statlander, I think, is about peaked in this company. I don't really know what else they can do with her. Mercedes really wasn't good at commentary here. Just wasn't good at all. She sounded like she was going to go out and wait for a bus. So, apron DVD to Sky. Holy shit chance. Second apron bump, at least that I counted. Now, there might have been more. And then the doctor's bomb on Anna, 1, 2, 3. Willow folding Anna right up to the point where her feet were almost over her ears. I mean, looked painful. And then Julia blasts Willow from behind, a stare down with Mercedes. So I'm guessing Willow and Mercedes will end up being the end game. Willow could end up beating Julia, and they could do that. They could do that Willow and Mercedes match at Dynasty, or not at Dynasty, but at Double or Nothing. So Renee is with Dustin. Not only has they got Carnage face paint on, but she said, "You've every time you stepped out there, you've shown everyone what a badass you are." And Mox is like, "The fuck? I'm the only badass around here." Then Butcher challenges Dustin for a match on Rampage. Remember when they had a bunkhouse match? I think it was during the pandemic era. They're reminding us of stuff that really only the longtime viewers will remember, and not maybe for the best reasons. The TCM guy, I forgot his name, I don't really care. He's the guy with the queefed hair. I think that's how the term goes. And Tony Storm was there. Now, I would have been all for this, but they didn't plug it. They just shoved it out there. Swerve Package, who swerves when he drives. And then the best friends of Trent Barretta and Orange Cassidy took on Bennett and Taven in a tournament match. Referee Rick Knox there again. You've got to give the people what they want. I gave myself a break to go do the trashes and go do the recycling and clean up some branches around the yard because we've had some wind. And apparently 15 minutes later, after some interference and this barn burner of a contest, the best friends won. So, yeah, Trent pinned Bennett. Couldn't even pin Taven. Nothing against Taven as a person, but I would have him take the pin because I think Bennett, whatever the fuck. And then you got to give the people what they want. And then the EVPs show up because they're going to have a match against them next week. I would laugh if the Best Friends won. That match does not interest me at all. Thank God I'm going to be watching that on, on demand, like on the DVR, so I can just skip ahead of time. And I do this, by the way, with WWE programming. I will just leave the room if I don't want to see a certain thing because I'm burned out on some aspects of all of it. In fact, by the time we get to the Dynamite that I'm going to be at live, I'm really going to start assessing how much AEW I'm going to be reviewing. And if their pay-per-views don't tick up, especially the views for the channel, I don't know how much more AEW I'm going to continue to review. And I don't know if they're going to get me back for another show if this is the kind of quality they're putting out. Renee is with Disheveled Kyle. I know that he just came back from injury and he's trying to get better, but good Lord, this is not good. Is he okay? The Cope Oakland is coming back. The Cope Open is coming back. And then Swerve, when he drives it, Swerve with Prince Na 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 against Takeshita. Don Callis on commentary. The only good part of that is that the women's roster is safe because Don Callis is nowhere near them. Then again, as a friend of mine pointed out, just have Nyla Rose stand in the front of that locker room door. Let's see that little bitch Callis try something, because Callis is a little bitch. He couldn't win a fight if he was against a corpse. And he is somebody that has done a lot of shit and has a lot of skeletons in his closet, and Tony allows him to be part of the company. So, the crowd loves Swerve. There was some good back and forth. Takeshita dropped Swerve right on his head. Swerve was selling because Takeshita, look, even though I don't like DDT Pro stuff, I really, really do not like DDT Pro. I think even though there are some good athletes there, the comedy stuff makes it a joke promotion. Takeshita is one of the standouts. And this is based on the limited stuff I've seen. But Takeshita is somebody that stands out. And the Brainbuster was nice. Swerve was selling. He was focusing on the neck. Takeshita was. And then at one point, there was a dive by Konosuke because he was able to take flight. Yeah, I tried here. Swerve came back after a blue thunderbomb. We did get the apron stomp. That wasn't the finish. We get the third apron spot of the show. You don't need to do that all the time. That goes for every promotion. You don't need to do that. When I'm pointing out this shit as somebody that has watched wrestling for a while, that's ridiculous. The knee for 2, that's usually the finish, wasn't it? And Takeshita kind of slipped off the ropes. I don't really know what he was doing. There was an awkward buckle bump. And then the house call, a stomp for just 2. What the hell? And then eventually Swerve did hit a stomp, an insane stomp, and then managed to get, the driver, whatever the hell he called it, 1, 2, 3. Joe's watching backstage and says, okay, when you sign on a dotted line, I'm going to prove that you signed your death warrant. And there we are. That is it. That is it for Dynamite. Shorter review than usual, but, they gave me a tag match with the Blocks and also with the Best Friends. Are you out of your fucking minds? I'm interested to see how the ratings, whether they plateau, whether they go back up. I really do want this company to get a better rights deal when the negotiations, finish up and everything, because I want more options and everything. I don't want AEW to become stagnant, and some of it has, they, even with the new signings, Monet, Okada, Ospreay. Ospreay feels like a big deal. Okada to an extent. Mercedes has just come out and done promos or done commentary. And yeah, maybe they're waiting to make her match special. I get it. Tony needs help and needs to actually listen to people and let other people book some stuff, because then might actually have coherency. So agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Charles Rentland. I'll see you soon.